Well, what's the crack? How are you getting on? You're all very welcome to episode 157 of Buckshot. I am, of course, your host, Tom O'Mahony. Well, what's the crack? How's your week going? Dirty old weather in now, lads, isn't it? That's pure wintry stuff, that is. Huh? But sure, look it. My thanks to everybody. A lot of people have been in touch this last week gone. A lot of people in touch. Fair play to you. Sound out for that. A lot of people like the old Marty Moan episode. Oh, sure, look it. He's a hero. He's a hero to a lot of people. Good on you. Thanks, of course, to the Patreons, with some new Patreons on board. Of course, did I write down? No, I did not. I did not. And I have the laptop nowhere near me. So I'm just talking into the mic here, just scratching myself. The old dog trying to grasp me. But thanks very much. Of course, this will go out live tonight as I'm doing this. This is Thursday, the 1st of October. By Jesus, 1st of October today. Where's the year gone, lads? Where's it gone? It's gone into the shitters where it's gone. But sure, look, we powered on. We're fucking striving on. We'll be alright. We'll get fucking through it together. Holding hands. Well, while wearing rubber gloves and holding hands. Or maybe just we'll hold a brush handle between us to stay 1.5 meters apart. Just to keep it safe, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, if you want to support the show, and like I always say, but you have to say it because there's new people on all the time, the Patreon is there. Look down in the show notes. Give it a click for just a couple of doll hairs. You'll be able to enjoy videos of all the podcast, and you'll get ad-free because the ads are coming in thick and fast, lads. You'll get the ad-free version, and look, it supports the show. A lot of people don't even get the time to watch the videos. They're listening at work, whatever, and they're just sound and want to support the show. Fair feckin' play to you. The bits and pieces have been ordered. There's a delay on the keyboard. They can send me the monitor, no bother. But I said, just fucking, what use is that joke to me? Buying a pig in a bag, for Christ's sake, come on. So they're waiting on the keyboard. So we'll have a fine big system set up soon enough, but there you go. And for Patreon only, this Sunday night we have the 100 episode. I normally do them on Tuesdays or whatever, but I listened to the people. They were like, Jesus, Tom, don't be doing a live one on Tuesday nights. Can we do this one at the weekend? And that's the kind of fella I am. The Patreon are the family. So this one is Patreon exclusive. Obviously, you'll get the audio next week. Episode 100 this Sunday night, 8 p.m. So any Patreons didn't see it on the app, I would say download the app because it seems to be the only thing that updates. It doesn't seem to update. I don't know. A lot of people don't be checking their fucking emails either when it isn't their business to be checking emails. So jump over onto the Patreon page if you are a patron, or go ahead and become a one-time only patron, and join the crack this Sunday night. We're all going to have a couple of drinky poos, have the crack, talk shite, and try and make each other laugh and steer clear of the doses that people are talking about at the minute. I will talk at length as a ramble pod will be. It'll be a bit longer than usual, but I'll talk about the gig last Friday in Limerick. It was glorious, lads. I hit 6th gear. I've been questioning myself. I was going, do I still love this shit? Because I just wasn't sucking diesel like I had been when this shit all hit. I was fucking ripping. And yeah, I was back. I was going, I don't know, can I fucking do this? I was rusty as shit. You'd be and you don't think that way. Because people are sitting there looking at you with their mouths open. They go, we paid for this. Yeah. I was grand. I hit top gear, and you know what brought it out of me? It was a lovely gig. Period. That's such an American fucking thing to say. But I had a gang of fucking hecklers, which nobody normally gets. But to the uneducated comedy goer, they go along going, "Dude, I thought there's hecklers all the time." No, there's not. No, but I dealt with him, which I will talk about. I dealt with him in the most verbal napalm that could come out of me. It was like coronavirus fucking stress. Well, I just unleashed on this gang of men. It was a thing to behold. It got a round of applause. I didn't care whether it did or didn't, but look I'll talk about that on the live podcast on Sunday night. So come on over, join the gang. You'll see the link on the Patreon page. I just did it up there a minute ago, so I'll be sticking it up. Gigs, I'm in Galway next Sunday. Or just next Sunday, for fuck's sake, Tom. I'm in Galway next Tuesday. Which is, I'll see you next Tuesday. I can't believe they didn't call the club that. I suppose there was a temptation to, but they didn't call it see you next Tuesday. It's not. It's Tuesday the 6th. I'll be in Galway at the Roisin Dove. very, very much looking forward to that. It's winding to normal, you know what I mean? Last time I was in Galway, I was in a tent, you know. The gigs so far have kind of been going on in, I don't know, kind of a bar up the road, and they hadn't opened the venue. Now they've opened the venue, so we're back. We're back, baby. So I'm in Galway. The Drogheda gig. I don't know what the fuck. If anybody, a regular listener, you'll go, here, this fella's not playing at Galway or like Drogheda at all. We are. It's been locked in. We are. Myself and Jerry McBride are going to be in Drogheda on the 30th. Now the 30th of October. I don't know what's going on, and I think I'm not really fully sure what venue it is. Only the lad rang us up to go. Just to let you know, it's it's not the ideal place for a gig. And both myself and McBride were like, is there a fucking gig? Can we talk to people in public? Well, yeah, fine. So I don't know, is it going to be where the fuck? Like I said, it could be in the forecourt of a Topaz on the way into the town. I'll still do the gig and give a shit. So Drogheda the 30th. I'll meet you in the town square, lads, and we'll walk to the gig wherever it is, because I don't know where it is at the minute. I'll keep you updated as I know more. I did the Monster Fuzz podcast this week. I was on with the boys from Monster Fuzz. Fair play to my listeners. There's a world of my listeners have gone over on my advice to go over and listen to the boys podcast. Fair fucks to you. I couldn't be more prouder, as the lads were just going, Jesus, we're after getting, the lads are pure Wexford. We're after getting a load of listeners who know you. I was like, yeah, fucking, and they named a couple of lads. I was like, fucking fair play to you. Fair fucking play to you. I couldn't be prouder of you going over, because you wouldn't, lads are flashes in the pan all the time, like when it comes to podcasts, but I cannot stress more. These lads are fucking plugged in. They are plugged in, and it's a good, funny podcast. They're churning it out too. It's a good podcast. So go have a gander at that. It's out now, actually. It came out this morning. So it's an episode. It's a very, very good crack episode. I'm not just saying it because I'm on it or nothing, but should I yourself? All the episodes are good crack. But the lads, we had a 5-minute chat beforehand. I picked up on the MO. I wouldn't, I was able to let rip, and the lad, it's properly researched and stuff and scripted. The lads are proper, you know what I mean? They're not fucking around. So that's that. I've loads more to talk about, but I'm going to do that in the Ramble Pod on Sunday night, the live one, if I'm not too drunk, because we will be having drinky boos. And that's how you come over and watch it. Join the Patreon revolution. My guest today, I think we talked about him coming on my podcast one time, all right, but he was too busy. He was too big shot for it at the time. We met when I was doing, I'd pop in on Mondays and do the Breakfast Republic with Keith, Bernard and Jennifer. Look, it's late, lads. The dog is fucking laying across me here. I can barely remember anybody's names. I can remember my guest, because he was the nicest fella you'll ever meet when I walked in there. And from just an interesting bloke with loads of, he'd been interested in loads of stuff. And a good crack fella, and he cut loose properly on this. And I've always had great time for him. I was just trying to get the man on the podcast. But now he has time, because he has retired. He's hung up his headphones from 2FM, which a lot of people wouldn't do. Takes stones to do that. But he did, hung up his headphones from 2FM, and he is now out. He's acting. He's fucking podcasting. He's writing books. He's making cards. He's hilarious on Instagram. We talked about him possibly having a bit of a fucking breakdown on how entertaining it was on Instagram at the time. He's a hell of a fucking good crack. And he, like I said, he cut loose in this one. You won't have heard Keith Walsh curse too much on live radio, but he shoved a couple of fucks in there. Like a proper... And I think his accent even got more country talking to me, which I was kind of proud of in a small way. We had mighty crack. And do you know what? It's one of them ones where the two of us were like, oh, fucking... We could be fucking having right crack over a couple of pints. That's, oh Jesus, we're going to have a right good podcast one of the days. This one was great crack, but we're going to sit down and just rub each other's faces. Do you know what? Every guest I've had who I'm close with and I'm friendly with, when we all get the vaccine, I'm just going to lick faces all over the fucking place. And Keith Walsh is going to be one of the first men to get licked, because he's a noble beard, lovely teeth, and not a bad looking man and all the same. So sit back and enjoy the chats that we had with the mighty Keith Walsh. This is class. You've got some amount going on.
I don't know. I feel like, you know, the way when you're in the middle, when you're in the middle of something, you feel like you've nothing going on. But
oh, absolutely. Welcome to the last 10 years of my life. It's I've got to go pure radio. Thanks for tuning in. With us now is Keith Walsh. Thanks for coming in, Keith.
Coming up later at 5 past, top of the hour. 2 tunes at the top of the hour. You decide.
Did you
Cheese
have
and
to
crackers?
Did you have to curtail that? You know what I mean? When you started first, not go. I'm not saying you would have gone full Alan Partridge out the gate, like. But you know, did you have to curtail? Almost sounding like a fellow who was, you know, DJ at the Waltzers. So here we are. You know, or was it encouraged?
Well, it's not encouraged, but you do end up hearing yourself and thinking of Alan Partridge. You know, you hear things you say, and it's just. Sometimes it's a mechanism for getting from A to B, and you're turning this switch over here, you're bringing up this fader here, you're making sure that the producer is happy with what's going on, and also you've got to in your head count down 30 seconds to go to news. So you're just talking absolute pants. You know, you're just going, coming up in the next hour we have, and you're just glancing at, we have a song from Rihanna, we've got, you're gonna love this, you know, and like there's been times where you just say. We're going to be talking to some young people, and I might have said, I love young people just to fill time, and then Bernard be going, like you pedophile or whatever, you know. So everything you say was just like, everything I said was just people. It was Jen and Bernard waiting to pants, you know. Yeah,
I kind of picked up on that when I was in with you. All right, you were always the nice one to me. From day one, you were always nice, but I knew the lads were like, this fella better come swinging. Because if he's coming in here with his funnies, he better come in swinging. But you were always just straight out the gate nice.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I always try to be nice. It's nice to be nice, isn't it, Tom? So nice to be nice. But you were always funny when you came in. You always come in ready, you know.
Well, yeah, you made life very handy, because you know, like the amount of times I've gone into radio stations, or they'll ring up and it's the wrong vibe. We're not together right vibe at all. I remember doing this one in Cork for a comedy club, and this fella, he goes, would you do just a bit of promo for the gig coming up at the weekend? I was, yeah, absolutely, no worries. But the guy that rang me was obviously one of these late night radio hosts, and he was all into aggro, you know what I mean? Like, people were ringing up going, come here, your man's selling hash out of the corner, and you know, and he'd go, okay, caller, who have you got there? Yeah, 4 corner hash, you know, and you're going back. Then he came to me, I came on the course, and the guy just straight away goes, so, why are you doing comedy? I'm like, oh, Jesus, that's a really deep question, man. I had to...
Almost like you shouldn't be, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, the cheek of me.
Who do you think you are?
Yeah, it was not the right vibe.
I think that might be a good segment, though, on a radio show. Who do you think you are?
Do you know what? That'd be actually, rather than who you think you are, like genealogy things, who do you think you are?
Who do you think you are?
I like it said like that too. You say it like a school teacher.
Who do you think you are? Doing comedy. Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? Like, who do you think you are? You think you're better than us? Sorry, I just wanted to find out if my granddad died in the Second World War. Wrong show.
Wrong show. Okay, we'll title the show, Who Do You Think You Are? Coming in Here.
Coming in here.
Yeah.
With notions. Who do you think you are, in the brackets, with your notions? Yeah. But I don't feel like I have a lot going on. I feel like I'm on hiatus, you know. I mean,
when did you pull up the anchor? It's only it's not that long since you actually pulled up the anchor, is it? And just said, good luck.
2FM, I finished this last weekend. Would have been my last weekend, but they gave it to me. They didn't. In fairness to them, they said, we don't want you finishing on a Sunday night and there's no one around and just walking out of the building on your own. That would be very sad. And
that's like the end of the Incredible Hulk or something, isn't it?
Yeah. Which would have been perfect for me, because I didn't want people around, you know. But so I went into Jen's show on, she does 9 to 12. And I just went in and I had a chat with her, and that was my last bit on 2FM as an employee. Yeah, that was it. Out the door. Good luck. See you later. Thanks very much. Thanks for all the fish.
Yeah, I saw that. Thanks for all the fish. Can you clarify? Was that your take on Conor McGregor's thanks for all the cheese?
No, it was. It's the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy at the end.
Yes.
When the dolphins are leaving the planet, and this is what I remember it to be now. The dolphins are actually the intelligent ones, and they're more intelligent than us, and they're leaving, and they say so long and thanks for all the fish. So that was. I've always wanted to use that line, you know.
Are you still as fit as you? Because you were mad. You had some great. I remember talking to you about it when one of the mornings I was in with you, and it was you were big into cupping, and I've tried it since, and it is actually it's a good old treatment, all right. Like I didn't realize how much lactic acid and stiffness I had in my back.
Yeah, cupping is great. I don't do it I haven't done it in a while, but I do get acupuncture occasionally, and a bit of Reiki, and a bit of whatever the fuck. I'll have a bit of whatever's going, you know. I'm not like, I don't know enough to not believe in stuff, so I'm like, yeah, give us a go at that. Why not? Flotation tanks, meditation, grounding, you know, taking your shoes off and walking in the grass, anything. I'll try anything. I believe I am the most gullible person, but I'm fine with it. Like, I'll believe anything. I'm like, yeah, give me a go. Why not? What's the worst that can happen now? And if someone's telling me jumping off a building without a parachute is good for you, like, I'm not that stupid. But like,
yeah.
But anything else, like stick 2 feathers in your ear for 4 hours, I'll give it a go, you know.
I'm a big believer in the grounding. I do notice a difference, I think, in the grounding, all right, especially if when I lived in town, I noticed the grounding thing was a big thing, all right. Now, maybe it was just the inner culture touching grass with my bare feet, you know.
And feeling like you're at home.
Yeah.
And then the guy in Stephen's Green kicking you out for taking your shoes off. And being a weirdo. And hunting swans. That you weren't allowed to do that, were you? Are you still hunting then?
Yeah. We're out this weekend, hopefully, if it's a cold enough evening, we'll go out this weekend.
Why does it have to be cold?
Well, the big thing is the field dressing and whatnot, i.e. the sorting out of its insides, and you got to hang him then for a couple hours. If it's anyway warm at all, they will rot faster than anything, and the meat will spoil immediately. So you do need it down cold. You need a cold night, and deer really like coming out on cold nights. Don't know why, but well, I mean, I think the idea being is that like stormy nights they'll be out too, because I suppose they figure we won't be around, you know. But it's They don't figure on mad eaters like you being. They do in certain parts of the country. They're very sharp to us humans. They're very, very aware. They like the ones around here where I'm living are practically smoking fags and just chilling out on park benches. Like, it's ridiculous. I'm just by Enniskerry where nobody's shooting, and these deer around here they're kind of like, they remind you of David McSavage, just hanging around, just being cool and smoking rollies, you know, and wearing like, you know, tweed hats and stuff, like.
Or taking the piss out of Joe Dutton.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, yeah. So, because I remember you asked me about that. We were having tea or something. You asked me about, because you were thinking of making a documentary on killing people, why people kill. Did you ever get to follow up on it?
No, we did. We got money for to explore. Like, we employed a researcher at one point to do all the research and find some guests and that kind of stuff. And I was very interested in psychopaths, and then it was kind of like, I think Ron Johnson, I hope I have his name right, had a book out at the time, The Psychopath Test. And then it got me onto thinking, could anybody kill in the right circumstances, you know? And I remember talking to you because I was interested in, you know, talking to people who kill animals, like big enough animals, and to see, was there any correlation between, you know, killing a living thing and you know, killing a fellow human, or, you know, I think, because I was thinking, given the right circumstances, anybody could kill someone, you know.
Well, we're all equipped with it, yeah.
And it's just finding where the line is, you know. And I was interested also in, you know, people have gone to war and people have killed we had a guy lined up to talk to who had been to Afghanistan and killed people, you know. So all this kind of stuff, it was just to see, like, where the line is between not being a killer and being a killer, and what is it, and how do you cross that line, you know. It never happened anyway.
I need to hook you up with Gordon Rochford of those conspiracy guys. Have you met Gordo? Was he ever in with you?
No, but I have listened to the podcast.
Yeah, he does a true crime one. I did one with him the other night. And it's about a British killer that Dennis Nielsen. Never heard of him. And the guy, man, he got through 16 of them. I think I've heard of him. Did he kill somebody on Wormwood Scrubs? Yes.
A woman?
No. That's a different fella. This fella was exclusively dudes. He was into dudes anyway, and he was exclusively dudes. But he got. There's a new show out called Days, and it's David Tennant is playing it.
Oh right, yes. I've seen the trailer for it. Yes, it looks really good. Yeah,
but the breakdown, throughout, and then at the very end, towards the end, it's always on the true crime ones. Well, what made him do it? And it's great. Like it's absolute roaring piss taken away from my point of view, but it's seeing, could this fella did one time, and it's normally, I hate to say it, but it's normally the owl one. It's normally the cause of these fellas wanting to murder a lot of women. But
the mother,
it's nearly always the owl one. But in this fella's case, it's very hard to pinpoint. Very hard to pinpoint. It seemed his owl one was nice. The father did a legger early doors, but but I think he was a bit of a sociopath as well. Like, he was big into himself, but it's interesting you say that, because trying to break it down and go, I think there's definitely a few people I can think of that I would not cross.
That might kill. I wonder was if he was homosexual, was it the shame that drove him to kill, or was there some sort of societal thing mixed up in it?
It doesn't seem so at all. He was out and about. He was in the army for a while, but then he moved to London, and sure, he was having a great time in London, so that didn't seem to be it. It seemed to be
sometimes I think it's like these lads are just into something weird, and I know I don't want to be too glib about it, because this is a serious subject.
You can on this serious on this
but they're into something weird, and it's so weird, I want you, before I want you to give me a hand job while I'm, ballet dancing in a black bag and a crown of bananas, and that's my particular. But they're so ashamed and embarrassed that they might tell somebody about that they have to kill them, and that's the only reason they kill them is because they're embarrassed about their particular predilection.
Well, I think you might be. Yeah, we kind of stumbled onto a bit of weirdness. All right, so I think that episode is coming out next month. So give that one a listen. Now there's a lot of foul chat. There was a good hour of foul chat in the middle of it that probably wasn't necessary, but we're definitely going to. He's definitely leaving it in because it's way too funny. But
I'm okay with that.
That's an interesting take, and just I suppose as these days, of course, everybody has so much time in their hands. They're going. Everybody's turned into a conspiracy person at the minute, haven't they? Oh yeah. Well, you'll find now that's Jesus. I mean, come on. Do you know anybody who died of it? You're like, come on. Jeez. Just put your fucking mask on, will you? It's not that big of a deal. You're an ugly fucker anyway. Come on.
I don't know. I think I always envied the lads from Japan and China that wore their masks cycling around the town. I always thought it looked cool, and I was like, oh, it'd be great if I didn't feel so self-conscious that I could wear a mask around. I dig that, I thought it looked cool. So I don't know what everyone's giving out about, And the lads who are giving out about wearing masks sort of they cover up their faces anyway when they're on protests. I don't know. They need a T-shirt on. I'm wearing a mask, but it's not for my health.
Yeah, not because you told me to.
I'm wearing a mask because it's not for my health. It's just to cover up my face, because in case I get in trouble for bashing someone over the head with my tricolour. And that, that's fair enough. We like masks, but not for your health. They need to be more specific, I think. What are they against? You're not really just against masks. It's not the masks. Is it being told what to do? I think that's it.
I think that's it. And it's normally what I've found, because of me being on these, doing a couple of lads, different conspiracy podcasts and stuff like that, I find the people that are, not everybody, but some of the people that are really, really into it are disenfranchised people and are angry at something else. And they're just turning, going, tell me I'm right, that there's something fucking wrong with the world, right? And they're going, I don't know, sure, look it. And especially the likes of Gordo's one, he don't come down yay or nay on either side really. He just gives you all the story, and it's all up to you, after that. Like, but it's
Why don't the government say that we need to gather outside the GPO every Saturday, and like, why don't they try reverse psychology with them? Do you know what I mean? Like if you told these people we need to next Saturday the government, to prevent people getting the spread of COVID, we need to riot and gather outside, on Kildare Street, not wearing masks and carrying tricolours. They wouldn't fucking go.
No, they wouldn't.
Like, no fucking way. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, whatever you do, don't stay at home. Don't stay at home, lads. We want you out and about in large groups.
Oh, stay. And like, they're stuck then between a rock and a hard place, because they're not allowed to give students a Spanish arch then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Normally for everybody, and they're up there drinking a Spanish arch fast and whatever. They can't give out about them because there's no such thing as COVID. So like, they're just like, they have to agree with the students. It's a strange place to put yourself. It's difficult. I don't envy them.
No. The poor misfortunes out there just trying to do nothing, and oh Lord, because you had the kind of the shed chats as well. Was that the beginnings of a podcast? I see you're on Instagram. Oh, you're Facebook Live. Or was it Instagram Live you were doing it on?
It was Insta Live. I was doing these shed. I was losing my mind when I look back on it, and I was getting a lot of therapy at the time. But it was just out of, I don't know what I was doing. I was at home kind of rattling around, and I had a little gym set up in the shed, and I was doing my workouts in the shed, and then I was having little chats about life and trying to keep, in my head, I was like trying to keep people, giving people something to look at, and just like, encouragement. Like, I can't even remember what I was talking about now. I'm actually embarrassed to look back on them. It's like,
oh, you were definitely having some sort of breakdown, but we were all loving it, watching along, like, you know what I mean? It's like, it was like an episode of Black Mirror. All, hey, Keith's at it again. Come in, family. Come in and watch Keith. He's in the shed again.
I was delighted my numbers were up. I was going, and they're all watching. They're all into it. Everyone's just thinking the greatest comedy show ever. We just watch this guy having a breakdown in the shed.
Well, what you do the next day is just have like a PayPal, just ticker tape across the bottom, and if you want to really see me lose my shit, just throw $5 in the bin there, lads.
If you're going to watch me having a breakdown on Insta Live, you bet you're going to pay for it.
Oh yeah, absolutely right. What was there a plan then to go in, and because you do have a plan to do a podcast, do you? Because I read it somewhere. Because they're badly needed at the minute. There isn't enough of them out there.
Yeah, there's a dearth of podcasts. I started last week. I think it was last week I put my first one out. So I'm on episode, I think I put episode 6 out tomorrow. So I'm putting a lot out.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah. So it's just like everybody else's podcast. It's just talking to people. And that's it. And it's higher than... It gets higher in the charts and someone else is talking to somebody, and that's it. But it's very similar to radio. Like on any given radio station in anywhere in the world, something very similar is happening. And you look at the radio industry, radio landscape in Dublin. Like there's all these radio stations kind of doing exactly the same thing, but yet somebody will say, "I fucking can't stand the guy or the girl talking and then playing songs on fucking, Today FM.
Yeah.
Oh, but I fucking love the guy or the girl doing the exact same thing on a different radio station with a slightly different accent and a different way of talking, and maybe the music's probably the same. It's the weirdest thing, So the podcast thing, I haven't got a clue. I'm throwing my hat in the ring. To be honest with you, it's because I finished up doing radio at the weekend, and I'm kind of like I need to just keep that muscle exercised until whatever happens next happens, So
because that was my first thought. If you were going to switch change, because I knew you'd left, but I didn't know about the podcast yet, and I read that during the week. But I was thinking, Keith has to do it. You have to literally either that or just my God, you drive him mental at home. If you're just shouting at, hey, do you know what's coming up next? There's nothing coming up next, Keith. There's nothing coming up next. Right, I'll go out and talk to traffic zone and see what happens. Because there's no way you're taking up pottery, as a full-time gig. You have to go talk to somebody. My podcast, I was doing 3 a week during the beginning because I was used to gigging 4 or 5 nights a week. So I was just going, well, lads, nothing's changed, but I'm just going to keep talking. So it's just so I can keep talking. It was the saddest thing ever, really. It was my kind of breakdown in the early doors as well.
We all had our own version of the man in the shed then. I think everybody was doing it. We were just shouting into the void, just trying to deal with what the hell was going on. But so I think the podcast is good. Also, I'm enjoying there's something when I was working on 2FM and doing the breakfast show, I didn't really edit stuff. I wasn't around the desk and stuff. If there was something needs to be edited, someone else would do it. So I'm enjoying just interviewing someone, taking the audio, throwing it up into a bit of software and editing it, and then putting it up and seeing it. I like the process of it, So I'm enjoying it. I'm like the guy who smokes hash, but only does it because he likes rolling joints, He doesn't. It's not that he loves getting stoned. He just loves the rolling of the joints and making the perfect joint. That's what I'm at.
Yeah, I get it. I thought I was amazed. Mine was helping when I started way back. It was myself and Jerry McBride actually had a podcast aptly named The Tom and Jerry Show, but we had no idea. We're just about able to hit record on the device that we had. That was about the extent of it. And I was giving it to a mate going, can you edit that? And he was like, Jesus Christ, Tom, there is next to nothing in editing this. Would you? And some Asian child on YouTube taught me in 12 minutes how to do it, as they do. Okay, hello guys. Today I'm going to show you how to use Audacity. And it's some 12-year-old.
That 12-year-old kid has taught me how to change the bulb in my Volkswagen Golf, edit a podcast, make up with the wife.
Do you know what? That's a fantastic sketch idea. That Asian kid, and actually take it to the next level, and the final scene be so the 2 year in bed, you've got the tongs off, and you have the laptop up beside you, going, okay, go ahead, Mel, whenever you're ready. Okay, hello guys. I'm going to show you today how to absolutely pleasure the shit out of your wife. So please hit subscribe down the bottom before you finish. And if you don't want, leave some comments down the bottom. Okay, so if you want to look at the screen, guys, we're...
Maybe if you could like and subscribe before you start that, because I don't think you'll remember at the end. Most people don't remember at the end. And if you... it's very good. Same guy teaching the world everything.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's always them lads, and you know what? Jesus Christ! I mean, we have to be thankful for the amount of times where you'll go back to YouTube and go. And in my head, I'm thinking nobody else is doing this. I am a genius for I found some dark web.
Yeah. And there's everything. It's you can be as specific as you want about the video, and you can say how to. A little silver nut has fallen off the back of your washing machine, and you're wondering, and you put a silver nut from the back of washing machine, blah, 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 and there's 12 videos about it, And it's,
that or it's the heavy breathing middle-aged English lad. Oh God, welcome to Jay's Cars. Today I'm going to show you how to take your oil filter off your Vauxhall Insignia. And it's just, oh Christ, I got to sit through this shit. Oh.
The best one I watched recently was a guy who he was showing me. So I don't have the old-fashioned handle flush toilets. Everyone, you have the push button one now. Yeah. And I thought, well, ours is broken, so the thing unscrewed and came off, and I can't get it back on. So I was like, I just need to fix it. So I looked it up, and this guy was like, oh, it's very easy, very fucking easy, no problem, blah, blah, blah. Everything was really easy, no problem. About 4 hours later, he'd taken the whole thing apart. He practically unbuilt his house. He unbuilt his house to get in at the back of it. The amount of hassle I was like, would have been easier just to buy a new house and and burn the old house. But that was the best one because he just kept saying it's so easy, it's so easy, it's so easy, and he's just everything he did was not easy at all. So that some of them can be a bit misleading in that way,
I've done a couple of totally due to lockdown. I did barbecue videos.
Oh yeah, I think I saw them.
But I kept it as simple as what a bloke and not just anybody doing it can do. And total, because now that's a whole genre. If you get into that genre of barbecue recipe, oh my, everybody is plus 22 stone, at least 22. Like I'm the skinniest by a good 10 stone than any of these lads, and they're all. Hey, Dennis Keith here from JP Barbecue, and today I'm going to be doing a 10-hour cook. And you're like, oh, Jesus. And literally the guy will have the full cook on, and he'll be coming out in the middle of the night checking the meat. So I've done like these 3-minute videos where after continuously burning shit for years, I now found a way of, lads, this is how you do. Just keep it to your friends and family. I don't actually want the videos to go large. I just had to put something out there. It's the performer, creator person. Like,
well, there's nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it, Tom. You know what I mean? Like, there's something in us that does something and says we want this. This needs to go up somewhere. This should be. I mean, we're talking now, and it's going to go up somewhere. Do you know what I mean? It's like, most people just have a chat over the wall with their neighbour. We have to hook up with some lad and up the road on Zoom and make a podcast out of it. But that's the world. People like to listen to them, and the world needs entertainment, and that's what you do, Tom. Come on.
But tell me, so how did you come about from? You're not originally from Kildare, sure you're not.
No, I'm from born in Longford, and I spent 4 years in Longford, and my dad was with Bord na Móna, so we were in Longford for 4 years, and then he got a job in Athlone with another engineering company. So we went. So I lived in at Longford, Athlone, and then around the age of 15, 16, moved to Newbridge, and I'm in Newbridge kind of ever since. But I lived in Dublin when I went to college, and afterwards, and I went to London for a while, and I did a bit of traveling. But ultimately, I came back to Newbridge. My wife is from Newbridge, and we settled here. The kids are both all mostly from Newbridge, and that we.
I love that. Sounds like you've got 30 of them.
Yeah.
Era?
Most of them now. The ones I know of, the ones I'm aware of, but they're all from Newbridge. But we went to Athlone for a couple of years, and we lived in Athlone for a couple of years. So we're mostly Newbridge now at this stage. Still blow-ins though, You never get rid of the blow-in tag.
For God's sake! But when did where did the busting to be on radio come from, or did that come about as a result of something else, or were you just Chatty McChatterson when you were a young fella?
I'm not really sure. Like, I suppose like anybody in Ireland, I mean, it's not, you can't really say, I just grew up listening to the radio and loved listening to the radio, because everybody in Ireland did. That was the national pastime.
Yeah.
I don't know. I studied drama in college, so I did 2 years of acting, and then before that I'd done set design and stuff for a year, and then I did acting, and then from the acting, I suppose, because when I did the drama course, there was a bit of script writing in that, and I was myself and a friend were writing comedy characters, because we spent a lot of time sitting in our gaff watching the Fast Show.
Isn't it brilliant?
And that was all we did for a long time. So we tried to do our own. I suppose if I think about it now, if TikTok and if Vine and if Instagram had been around back then when we were that age, we probably would have been making like funny videos. Like,
right.
Like there's a lot of stuff I see now. Like I suppose the Two Johnnies, or like any like stuff that just, I suppose, I'm not sure. I don't really watch the Two Johnny stuff, but I feel like I'm trying to find a comparison. I see stuff on TikTok now, and it's like we used to, when we were on the radio, we do like, things Irish mammies say, or, you're an owl lad when, and we still think we invented all that, because we were doing all that 20 years ago. But so it's that kind of.
It's been done a fair bit since.
Yeah, it's been done once or twice. I wish
people love an old nostalgia bit of comedy, like they do. They love it.
You know, you're from Ireland when. So I suppose but we also wrote sort of kind of complex comedy characters. Like I wrote this character called Tony Divney, who was a local councillor from North Dublin, and he was trying to get the council to agree to fill in the canal to make more room for cars.
Fantastic, brilliant, love
so
it.
It was quite niche, and but he was quite the character, you know. And that actually I got as far as RTE with that. In that I wrote 2 sketches for Sean Moncrief was doing a show called Exit Poll. I don't know if you remember Exit Poll.
Yeah.
And they actually put me on live television at one point, and I recorded 2 sketches with this character Tony Divney, who's a politician, you know, looking for votes. And neither of them, both, like all 3 things I did for that show were cut. So that was pretty fucking harsh. But at the same time, I got as far as RT. I don't think I had it was fine on the radio. It was fine when we were doing what we were doing, because we were doing it on a community radio station at the time called Near FM, which kind of suited the character. So this character, Tony Divney, would ring up the local pub and tell the barman there was a meeting, you know, there was a council meeting happening at the front of the pub, and would he tell made up name that, you know, to come to the phone. So the barman would go off looking for someone in the bar. And look, there's supposed to be 4, I don't know, just stupid stuff. But I rang the Late Late Show one night. He put a shout out for callers. He had someone well known on, I can't remember who it was, but Tony Divney rang in, you know, and not what Pat wanted. He just rang in to complain about the state of something, probably the canal or something, you know. And it was the funniest thing. Myself and my friend Joe were just sitting in our flat, you know, high on tea and ringing Pat Kenny, and I was at one end of the room going, how are you, Tony Divney here? Yeah, I was just wondering, what are you going to do what are RTE doing about the canal? And Pat was going, no, do you have a question for Micheál Hertig about the All-Ireland final? What are you doing there? And my friend was up the other end of the flat we lived in, watching the telly, going, you're on the telly. And I was on the phone in the corner of the other end of the room talking to Pat Kenny on the telly. And it was, I don't know, that's what I mean. Like, I suppose it was kind of prankster stuff, it was funny stuff. If TikTok was around now, we'd be making TikTok videos, you know?
Yeah, that's brilliant that you went that route. And then where did the jump then? Was it you started creating sketches for radio, then that's how the radio bug bit?
Yeah, because television seemed to, we'd no way into television. We didn't have the money, we didn't have the equipment we didn't have any money to buy. We didn't want to spend any money on equipment. We spent money on pints.
Yeah.
And so radio seemed cheap and accessible. So that's where we went on this, Near FM was a community radio station, and they'd have these 6-month courses, and you'd go to Near FM every Thursday night and you'd do 2 hours of radio. And at the end of the 6 weeks or whatever, you'd have a tape, you know, of a show. And if the tape was good enough, they'd give you your own show on Near FM. And that was the thing. And we did that. And at the end of it, they gave us a show every Thursday night, and we called it the Thursday show. And we did sketches and played music. And that was kind of the start, really. And we ended up on Phantom then, when it was still a pirate, and we did the Thursday show. We brought it to Phantom. And then when Spin started, because Spin was the first youth licensed radio station in Ireland, first kind of regional station. When they started, the guy who kicked it off, the guy who was program director, he got in touch with us and said, would you do a sketch show for us every Saturday? And then we started, that was our first paid job, was with Spain on a Saturday, doing a show called Tea Time Express, which was sketches and songs. And I suppose that the radio grew out of that. The sketches got a bit smaller. We talked a bit more, and then we ended up doing breakfast, and then the present kind of presented itself then from there, you know.
There nearly isn't enough sketches anymore. Like, there used to be some class sketches on radio before, wasn't there?
Yeah, we loved, like, I was fascinated with this. We used to do a radio soap called Air Finglas. It was an airline run from from out the back of a house in Finglas. And there was 4 characters. There was 4 characters in it. And it was loosely based on, it was somewhere between Harbour Hotel and Fair City, you know. So, like, there was a guy called Elvis who who that wasn't his real name, but he called himself. Everybody called him Elvis because he had the Elvis hair. There was a girl called Tiffany Kiley, because that was what you did when you're from the north side. You called your child after a pop star. So Tiffany Kiley was your typical child of the 80s, and Anto, Elvis, Tiffany Kiley, and then some other character. But and every week, so it was a soap, so every week there'd be some new thing that they'd have to navigate, and they were like 2-minute long sketches, but it was that kind of stuff, and it was ridiculous, but it was funny. And then there was two guys called Scobie and Slasher, and they worked in a hardware store in the north side, and they worked for an Italian. There was an Italian guy in charge.
Okay. Do you still have these like the audio files of these?
We do, yeah. They're still there. Like Joe, it was myself and Joe Donnelly that did it. So I still have CDs up there of the stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I'd be afraid to listen back to it. But it was literally like it was literally like us going, what's this? It was Adam and Paul. Have you seen the film? Adam and Paul? Yeah. It was Adam and Paul, and we it was just two lads not doing any work in a hardware store, and so it was really good. Like we loved the sketches, but I don't know what happened. The radio kind of seemed to take over or something.
Yeah, because when some of the best stuff is. Have you ever heard? I can't remember the name of the comic, but he did a bit. Oh, Mike. Oh God, he's kind of balding at the front. He's an older comedian. He's still alive, like does the club, but he's actually very, very sharp for a clean comic. But he does a bit about, and it's even funnier when he's not on stage and you hear it on radio. And it's like the breakdown of this radio host who was big shot one time, but now he's doing kids radio, and he's doing Noddy and Big Ears. Did you ever hear that one? And
no.
Throughout it, he's drinking. And he's getting heavily, heavily drunker and drunker throughout the telling of the story of how Noddy called over to the Big Ears' house. And then it turns into Noddy calling him out. Hey! And you can hear the glass clinking. It goes, oh, that's just Noddy washing his face, children. And it's better and better. But even to be heard over the like without the vision, without him telling it, without physically seeing him tell it, far funnier because your imagination is working. You know what I mean?
Of course, yeah. Well, that was the thing. Like we couldn't have gone into RT and said, like, we have a soap. It's an airline, and it's set, and it's out the back of a house in Finglas. But you could do that on radio, no problem. You could imagine the conveyor belt and the bags coming off, and a plane, having to clean a plane and all that kind of stuff. It was much easier, much better, and yes, situation comedy or whatever. It was good fun.
I reckon there's some place for it, because I was only reading recently Lawrence Fishburne. He brought a couple of big name actors on board, but they couldn't get this movie made, and or TV shows, like a 6-parter, couldn't get it made. Money wise was going to be a problem or something. So they created a podcast story. And it's supposed to be incredible because, of course, it's been produced for next to nothing, just with the right sound effects and everything, and they have all the actors in the room, in the booth. So it's worked out advantageous. I think it's kind of going to kick off something where, the likes of your sketches and stuff like that could have. You could easily throw them up and create a channel and throw it up wherever you wanted it.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, we've never really thought about it, but if you look at Alan Partridge and like his podcasts, have you listened to them? They're up on Audible. They're essentially, it's Alan Partridge does a podcast, but they're not for free. You buy them. It's kind of like an audio book. So it is happening. It is out there. There's nobody really doing it on Irish radio, I don't think. Kind of comedy sketches. It became the sort of the breakfast radio, Mario Rosenstock thing, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, it could be happening. Like there could be people on regional radio or local radio that are doing it, but I'm not aware of it. But it'd be great to. It's something. It's something now I'm thinking about again.
Why not?
But because when you see Instagram and TikTok and stuff, it's kind of all there. You'd need, like, the thing is, like, it is that I could easily play the sort of the has-been radio presenter, because it's actually happening to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
She has been sleeping with it. Linda, she has me sleeping in the Jaguar.
Radio station from the shed, you know what I mean? Trying to get listeners, and that's basically what's happening with the podcast. You know, you're still raging against it. You know,
I knew you must have done some acting or whatever, because I saw you. I'm trying to sport a Keith of when he was in Bridget and Eamon, because you had an amazing.
Oh yes, the mullet.
It was glorious. Mm. You played the brother, and I remember seeing going,
yeah.
Keith hasn't licked that up off the ground. Jesus Christ, he is. God, you just think, you know, you meet somebody in a profession, i.e. you're a radio host, and it doesn't transfer in your head. You're going, how could he possibly do anything? Oh, right, he can totally fucking act. Yeah, absolutely, he can act. It was, you played the brother that just had come home, didn't you?
I got to play Phelim twice, actually. It was in the first series. He came home, and what the hell was happening there? I think there was some confusion over, I don't know. All I remember at the end, he almost got tricked into thinking that Bridget wanted to ride him, and he was caught in the bedroom with his trousers down around his ankles. But then he came back, then Eamon told him that the father had died. So he came back for the funeral. He came back for the funeral, but the father wasn't dead at all. And it was, but yeah, he was a very, very, very much bullied younger brother of Eamon's. It was a great character to play, like, because I didn't have much to do, and you know, I had a few choice lines and brilliant costumes. So I was like,
did you choose the mullet? Please tell me you chose the mullet.
The mullet was given to me. The mullet was presented to me on the because I'd spent because I was coming back from America, so obviously I was in America in the 80s, and obviously I was going to be a rocker. So because I was from the Midlands, so yeah, it all seemed to make sense.
Yeah, they gave me a slim little moustache and a rat's tail playing the pervert.
You were what were your
Paddy the pervert?
Paddy the pervert.
They really put a lot of thought into that character's name.
A great. But the great thing about Paddy the pervert is that when we grew up in the 80s, there would be a lad down the road called Paddy the pervert, and everybody knows he was a pervert, and he was just one of the local. You know, you had the priest, you had the pervert, you had the shopkeeper, you had the bin man, you had the postman, you had whatever, and that was it. And Paddy the pervert. Those people that would have been harmless back then, you know.
Yeah, he just had holes in his pockets. He might give himself
You might find him looking through your window in the middle of the night, but sure, he's harmless.
What harms is you? You've written a one-man play as well, because this all makes sense that you studied drama, that you wrote a one-man show, I should say, as well. Had that gotten to take off before this shit kicked in?
Not really, in that I was writing it, and my deadline was June, the bank holiday weekend in June. There's a festival here in Newbridge where I live, called June Fest, to be kind of work in progress of whatever stage it was at June Fest, and it was going to be like a big part of the festival. And then lockdown happened, but in fairness to the local arts centre here at the Riverbank, they came to me shortly after lockdown happened and said, do you still want to do it? We'll put it up online. And I was like, fucking yeah, great. So it meant, because I'd kind of like, I was like, I'd stopped kind of writing it, or we were finessing the writing and finishing off the script and all that. And then everything just stopped. And then they said, well, do you still want to do it? And I was like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, great. So it gave me a focus then for the next kind of month or so to get it ready to a point where we could put it on. And we put it on live from the Riverbank as part of, I think it was the weekend after what would have been June Fest. And we just put the work in progress on, and people could tune in and watch it. And we did a half hour of the show. So it was great, yeah. So it meant the show, that much of the show got finished. I got to perform that much of the show. The Riverbanks got to see the work, and they decided then to produce a tour. So we're due to go on tour. I'm rehearsing for the whole October, and then I'm on tour, whatever on tour means anymore, but I'm touring, and theatres have booked it in for November and December. So that's the plan. And that's why kind of the 2FM thing, I finished that this weekend, because in a week's time I start rehearsing full time, and I still have a little bit of the script to finish. So that's the plan for now. Yeah.
Geez, that couldn't have worked out any better. Sure, it couldn't.
Yeah, kind of. It was nice. It worked out well, and I think I suppose I knew I had this on the horizon, but yet at the same time I didn't know with COVID what the fuck was going to happen. Obviously, nobody does. But it could have worked out better. And then as it got closer, I said, well, as October got closer, I said, look, I'll just finish up at the weekends on 2FM now because like I was doing a radio show on 2FM Saturday and Sunday, and in fairness to them, it was very kind of them to say when the breakfast show finished up, look, you can do a show at the weekends, and that kept me going then for another year. But I never really got into radio to present a music show. Yeah. I'm not really a jock. I'm not a DJ, so I wasn't enjoying it. And now, for the first time in my life, for 3 months, I'm going to be a full-time employed paid actor.
That's class. Jesus, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
And
what's that like? When you a few years, didn't you? So what should I be preparing myself for? You know, like it's not that I don't have a show every night. For like you would have been on stage every night, and maybe twice a day for a good run, maybe a month. I don't know how long these things go on for, but
yeah, I did a one man.
I'm really doing weekends. Oh, you did a one man show, did you?
Yeah, I did a one man show. Yeah, last year we were scheduled. We booked out. It was one man. It's a play. It's a one man play called Defending the Caveman. It's a big show in America and stuff. So they had toured Europe, and they did it. Simon Delaney did it years ago, like about 10 or 12 years ago, and they wanted to bring it back around again. So we toured Ireland last year gone, and a couple of dates were planned for this early this year, and then we're going to kick it off again in September. So every weekend in September we'd booked out the Liberty Hall Theatre. Like it was going to be we were going heavy at it first. But sure, of course, that shit the bed, you know. But I tell you what's weird is just to be prepared for. Bang out the show the exact same as you did it every night, because you'll just go to towns and theatres where they don't have the ability to, in the moment with you, ability. They just don't as a collective. It's weird. You think a country the size of Ireland, we're all the very same. Not a whole. No way. Kilkenny is different to Dundalk. Galway is different to Cork. Yeah. And if you let that spook you, they're like vultures. They'll go, well, fuck it. So bang it out like they're loving it. That's my only advice to you.
Yeah.
Bang it out like every fucker's loving it. Because you will see one old nana there with her arms folded going, but she'll come up to you and tell you she loved it afterward, but she's a face like thunder. You know, that kind of a way.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's bad. Like, it's an hour-long show, so it'll just be like get out on the stage and fucking try and remember my lines and get through it, really. But it's autobiographical, so it's scripted, but it's me talking, delivering my stories, you know. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be interesting.
Is that the one you call Pure Mental?
Yeah, Pure Mental. Yeah,
great name for it too, like.
And that's it. It's come off with the breakfast show finishing up and me figuring out going to therapy and getting my head right, you know, so I didn't fucking crash and burn altogether, you know. So I'd invested so much into doing that show that everything else had suffered. So when that show was gone, I was like, well, who the fuck am I supposed to be? And what am I supposed to be doing? It's almost like life took me down a road I wasn't expecting, and then I ended up at the end of the road without my clothes on, and I didn't know where I'd been, and so it was kind of the year of therapy, and then it looks back to Athlone when I was young, and you know, it goes back and forward, and then just trying to tell the story of a man in his 40s who's a bit lost and trying to find his way back, and that's why it's called Pure Mental. Yeah, it'll
be class because a lot of people will relate.
I think so. I mean, not to be too. It's not to be too. I'm not very signaling, but it's like I'm trying. I think it's good to try and, as a man, to just talk about, you know, feeling like you're losing your mind and feeling like shit and trying to figure that out and going to therapy and that it's okay. Well, you know what? If you feel like you don't know what the fuck is going on, there's people you can talk to. There's people that can help you with that. So it's, you know, it's got a good message as well at the heart of it, you know. So if people don't think it's entertaining, they can fuck off, because I'm doing a good thing.
That should be on the bottom of the poster. If you,
this is not about entertainment.
I'm doing a good thing. And just a set of wings drawn out of Keith standing there, just going, "Look, you're welcome, guys. This is me doing this for you guys." Because there's not enough of them fellas around the place, telling people how they should feel and all the rest. It's just not enough. There should be more.
And people need to realize I'm doing it for them. I'm doing I don't need to be here in Limerick on a Saturday night helping you people. Oh Jesus!
Do you know what?
Okay, isn't it?
It's going to be fucking grand. You have a full head of hair, all your teeth. You're fucking grand, sure. What else have you to be worried about?
That's all you need. That's all you need, isn't it?
Tell me this: what's the name of the podcast so people can keep up to date? Would you keep updates of tours and stuff? Do you update people of when the show finally gets to kick off? Because hopefully it'll be November, December, like.
Yeah, I have a meeting tomorrow about everything kicking off. So it'll be November, December. The dates are booked in. As you can imagine, there's not as many dates as we would have hoped because theatres can't do anything. So, but yeah, the podcast is called the Keith Walsh Podcast.
It's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous.
Ever since my days of doing a show on a Thursday called the Thursday Show, I tend to try and name things as I see them. The Keith Podcast, and I'll be keeping people up to date with the dates and all that, or just follow me on Instagram and I'll be all over that shit.
You are one of the most. You're almost an influencer with the level of stuff you're putting out on Instagram these days. It's absolutely glorious. And there's times when I'm going, fuck, is Keith being? No, he's not at all. He's not at all. Actually, Keith's being. He's because I was worried about you after the shed stories, but now I just look and go, Keith's absolutely acting the bollocks here, and it's great. This is great. He puts me in a good old mood. Yeah, sure.
The thing is, I don't know whether I'm being serious anymore, so it doesn't matter. So I stop. It's once you stop caring, it doesn't matter. It is mostly you mostly just take the piss. That's the best thing to do.
Beautiful, Keith. This has been absolutely glorious. Thanks very much, and I hopefully I'll see you in the normal world at some stage. And if we cross paths, we'll probably walk in the opposite direction because what I didn't tell anybody is that we actually hate each other.
Yeah, but look how well we hit it. That's the actors in us, the performers in us. Like nobody would have known that we hate each other.
Oh, not at all.
We're actually Tom is my nemesis.
And my thanks as always to Keith. Fair play to him. The Keith Walsh Podcast. Go follow it. Subscribe to it. You can't go wrong. You'll keep up to date with all his shows that are coming out. I can't wait to actually see that one. I can't wait to see a fella go a bit fucking savage. And, compare and contrast, one-man show. I mean, this is his own show, and it's going to be good to watch. I hope he fucking sells out every place he gets in contact with. Follow him on Instagram, because he cracks me up, because there's kind of a touch of fucking madness about him. And how could you not love that? Rate and review. This is something you have to do. I think you can do it now on Acast, and I think you might be able to do it on Castbox or Podbean, as well as doing it on Apple. Whatever you're listening on, if you can rate and review, do it. 5 stars all the way. But I'm now, as an inspiration from the boys from the Monster Fuzz podcast, I'm holding a competition for the best one. And just in case I miss it, I want you to do a screen grab and Instagram me, Tom O'Mahony Comedy. Right, do a screen grab of it, just in case I miss it, and there's like a fucking gazillion of them come flying in. Just send it to me. Send me the best one, and there will be a prize. There's going to be some merch coming your way. So, best review written on Apple, because in case I might miss it on whatever platform you've written it, screen grab it and tag me in it on your story on Instagram, and I'll definitely spot that one. We're going to give it 2 weeks just to let you have a go at it, and I want to see the best rate and review up on whatever platform you're having. And like I said, little prezzy coming your way. Of course, we're doing the live one on Patreon. You know the crack. Look down at the show notes. They're down there. Jump on over. Join the revolution. Support the show. And we'll have a fucking couple of drinky poos this Sunday night. Right, boys and girls. Enjoy the weekend. Thanks very much for listening. God bless and thanks.